Welcome back. Today it's absolutely freezing outside, but we're gonna go back to some footage I shot back in September. See, I have this greenhouse, if you're not familiar. It's a 105-foot GrowHoops Greenhouse, and it has a problem. I mentioned in my review that the wind has a tendency to cause these self-drilling screws to back out. I've been able to fix most of the problem with a flexible glue that bonds to metal, but the glue hasn't helped with this door mechanism. As you can see, this wall post that the door locks to has completely disengaged from the greenhouse, and that's put some extra strain on the poly. Now, I've already tried screwing these back in a number of times just in the past few months. Today I'm going to show you a more permanent solution. First, let's talk about why this is a problem in the first place. This greenhouse has 4 wall posts, but this is the only one that's having issues. The other 3 that don't have a door have an extra fitting, which keeps the wall post much more rigid in the face of wind. It seems that this last wall post doesn't have this fitting, probably because they want to give the door enough clearance to close nice and tight. Because of that, the wind is able to back these screws out much more easily. So what am I going to do to fix it? I don't really want to do anything on the outside of the greenhouse because I don't want to take the poly off. So my only real option is to attack this from the inside. And I'm pretty happy with the solution I've come up with. It's incredibly cheap to build and only uses parts that you could probably find at a Home Depot or a specialty bolt supply store. The parts that I'm using today are a piece of 1/4-inch threaded rod, 2 washers, and 2 nylon lock nuts. All these parts together cost me $3.91 Canadian, and they only require a little bit of modification to do the job. So what I'm going to do is use this threaded rod to build 2 right-angle anchor bolts. I wasn't able to find an anchor bolt this small, so I'm going to make my own. The first thing I did was clamp the threaded rod to a big piece of plywood. After that, I just hooked a decently long pipe on the end of the rod, and I used all that leverage to bend it at a 90-degree angle. This was way overkill, but I didn't have a bench vise, so I just used what I had. This stuff isn't super hard to bend, but I wanted a really clean 90-degree bend. After I got the bend I wanted, I just cut it down to size with my angle grinder and repeated these steps to build an identical second one. I probably could have just used bolt cutters, but I couldn't find mine. The tubing that the greenhouse is made out of has an exterior diameter of 1 5/8 inches, so I cut the part that was going to go into the tube shorter than that. Once those were cut down, all I had to do was feed those through the holes here. I had a hard time actually filming this on a ladder, so this is just what it looks like when it's done. And once those are in and they've been rotated into place, I just put the washers on there and the nylon lock nuts and tightened those up into place. I gave it a bit of a wiggle to make sure that I was getting that piece of threaded rod as tight as possible. And I only did 2 of these, even though I had 3 holes, but the 2 have held up great. Like I said, I filmed this back in September, and this thing has held up great. It hasn't loosened at all, it hasn't budged. It's working significantly better than the screws that came with the kit. So there you go, nice quick video. If you have this particular greenhouse and you're having the same problem, I hope you find this solution helpful. Thanks for watching, and sleep well tonight.